guys. So if you have any feedback you want to give us that survey. Any topics you want to hear about in the future, send that survey to us, and we'll give you a 10% discount on the content store, stackable coupon with other discounts, which we'll talk about in just a moment. And today's webinar, a little bit about today's webinar. We're going to be, like I said, talking about Headshot 2.0. And at the end of today's webinar, we'll have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, one of the favorite pastimes of these webinars is for people to put your questions in the Q&A little window there in Zoom. There's a little Q&A on your panel there. You can just click that and put your questions in there any time throughout the webinar, but we'll be answering them after the live demo, which is about 40-50 minutes, and we'll get to that later on. So hi Zola, hi Fairs. I see some people saying hi from the chat. We got people from all over the world as usual. Just some people are up at 3 o'clock in the morning in places like India. So got some crazy people like that. But thank you. Nevertheless, thank you for joining. And yeah, lovely to see you guys all here. We are recording this as well for if you guys miss anything, you have to step away for something. Don't worry about missing anything. We're recording it, and we'll be sending you guys the link for the recording later on as well. And we are also live broadcasting on YouTube, but we're not going to be answering questions from YouTube, unfortunately. So just be aware of that. If you are watching the live broadcast on YouTube, you'll have to join with Zoom to have access to the Q&A, because I won't be answering questions from YouTube. Okay, a couple little things to promote here before we get started with the live demo. Let's go to the main page here. In the Learn section from the main page, if you go to Global Training Network, and if you are a student or a teacher, I would highly recommend going here, because once you go here, you can go to the bottom and you can go to Educational Discount and get 60% off coupon. So if you fill out this little form here at the bottom, you just click on this one here, individual license, there you go. Basically, you'll get a 60% discount from for any of our software. So this is by far our best discount. So if you're a student or a teacher, make sure you just fill out your information here and get that discount from this page. You can access that again from the main page. Go to Learn and Global Training Network. All right, that's where you want to get the good discount stuff. And on the same page as well, if we go to, let's go back to Learn here, and free online tutorials. Okay, you'll find all our tutorials, obviously. And if you go to webinar, you'll find the outline of today's webinar, which is what we're going to be talking about. So I'll just give you a quick summary here. If you've signed up for this webinar, you've probably already seen this, but yeah, we're going to go through the legacy workflow of Headshot 2.0, just to kind of show you guys kind of how things were back in the old days when people were wrapping 2D images onto a 3D head. So we'll show that workflow really quick, and a couple of editing tips and tricks, some material editing, brief material editing. And then we're also going to bring in a 3D mesh, which I'm going to download from Sketchfab, free one from Sketchfab. You can find it yourself and test out the workflow as well. A little change here. I decided to go with AccuFace instead of iPhone for the live facial motion capture. I can use, I have my iPhone here somewhere. I hope it's within arm's reach. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Okay, I got it. If anyone wants to find out the iPhone iPhone workflow. There's too many iFace, iPhone, iClone stuff in my head right now. But I can always show you guys that later if you want in the live demo. Full disclosure, I kind of want to get to a hockey game after this. There's a finals hockey game going on, which I'm a big hockey fan. Anyways, we'll get through this demo here, and feel free to ask any questions you have, of course. Okay, coolio. That's the live outline for the webinar. We also have a mid-year sale going on in the content store. Okay, so I'll throw this link in the chat window for y'all. I'm not going to be answering from questions from the chat window, just so you're aware. I'll be focusing on the Q&A later on. It'll just be too much for me to pay attention to go through all the chat that's going on here. But feel free to chat amongst yourselves and whatever. So yeah, you can kind of figure out what's going on here. There's a bunch of 40% off stuff at the software store. Not as good as a student discount, but still pretty good. All right, so you can mix and match your bundles, yada, yada. I won't go through much through all this stuff. You can check it out on your own time. I put the link in the chat window, but it's our mid-year sale. We often have a sale going on at some point or the other throughout the year. So make sure you check this out if you haven't gotten a hold of any of our software yet. And for those of you who aren't aware, we don't have subscription. We have perpetual licenses. So once you purchase it, it's yours for good. All right. All free updates within the same version. All right. And the creme de la creme, we have the 2024. This is our main contest for 2024. This is a really cool one, and it's relevant to today's webinar because it's a 3D character contest. So creating characters. All right. So I'll throw this link in the chat window as well for you guys. And oh, someone already did. Thanks, chum. All right. You see over 45 grand in cash and prizes, tons of stuff here. You can go check it out on your own time. We're going to take a quick little peek at the prizes here. You can see there's 2 grand, 1 grand, 750. Okay, US dollar, which is almost twice the Canadian dollar now, which is awesome. If you're American, they're getting paid in US dollars. And some other prizes from some of our partners here as well. We got some Rococo stuff going on, Maxon, NVIDIA, Noitom, Kitbash. So make sure you submit your stuff. This webinar will get you started creating your own Headshot 2.0 head. You can import your own mesh and apply it to a cartoon, or not cartoon animator character, creator character, CC3 plus character, which we'll discuss that workflow a little bit later on. And I didn't have anything loaded up here, so let's go ahead and load up character creator while I'm blabbering on. Okay, yeah. So I think that's pretty much all the promotional stuff I wanted to go through. We'll just wait for character creator to load here. And the first workflow I'm going to go through, like I said, is the kind of legacy Headshot 1.0 workflow. There's a couple of added features onto that, which we'll go through. Some material editing. I will talk about basic skin adjustments. SkinGen, for those of you who aren't familiar with SkinGen, it's our material editing plugin / tool for character creator, which gives you a lot of flexibility for modifying and customizing the skin of the character. Obviously, SkinGen indicates we're modifying the skin. So we'll get into that in just a moment. All right, and then we're going to animate. We can animate the first character or the second character or both of them. I think I'll just do the second one though, because he's a bit more. The second one we're going to import an orc mesh, which is kind of cool. I like orcs, so you may notice a theme in a lot of my webinars where I have orcs, because I just like orcs for some reason. Okay, might be an old Warcraft thing. Oh, there's me again. Let's put AccuFace. We can actually close AccuFace right now since it'll probably be taking up resources. Okay, cool. Let's get started. All right. So with Headshot 2.0, make sure you've downloaded it. You can find it in plugins here, Headshot version 2. And if you don't have it, there's a toolbar option here as well. You can just click on that, Headshot 2 or toolbar, and you can find there's the regular Headshot, okay, and Headshot 1.0, I guess I should say, and Headshot version 2. So you want version 2 here, which is right here on my toolbar. Okay. And the window is also open here. And this is where I'm going to start. Okay, so with Headshot, there are 2 basic options to get started here. There's image and mesh. Okay, we're going to start with image first. Like I said, is a legacy workflow, and mesh is going to use an imported 3D mesh FBX. You can also use OBJ as well. Okay, and there's 2 further options here. There's auto and pro, and you can just click on them to kind of see what each one consists of here. The auto is generally used for like background characters or NPC type characters that you're not going to be focusing the camera on. You can see that the texture is only 1K. It kind of creates a 3D hair based on the mesh. It's the hair on the image. So it'll kind of use AI to kind of determine what sort of hair your character should have. It's not tremendous by any means, but it's good enough for having characters in crowds or background NPCs and stuff like that. So these are really low resource characters, fully automatic, everything. Okay, so just blends textures. This is just kind of, like I said, used for those background characters. Pro is what we're going to use here. So again, it's going to give us a 4K texture. We can do image matching, which we're going to do, and we're going to reproject the photo and some custom masks, which we'll discuss later. Okay, cool. So let's just get started with that. Bing bong. Back to this page here, or folder rather. Okay, so what you want to do is start off with a 2D image. For those of you who aren't aware, I'm just going to use this image here. There's a couple tips for the image that you want to have to use for, especially for pro. You want to have, directly facing the camera. Neutral expression, very important. Don't have a character baring their teeth or smiling or frowning or anything like that. Ideally, you want to have a completely flat facial expression like she has here. She looks like some, models have all that, that very serious facial expression or non-expressive expression, I should say. Anyways, and neutral, even lighting. Okay, you can see there's no harsh shadows on her face. The only thing with this one is she has bangs that are coming down over her forehead here, which is not ideal because we want to have, the entire forehead skin generated from this image. But I'll show you later how we can mask that out and avoid that. You can also use Photoshop as well. Okay, so it's obviously a female character. Let's use a female body type. And we're going to use no mask. Okay, so again, like I mentioned, you can start off with a mask and there's masking options later, but I'm just going to start off with no mask and go ahead and generate. Not a baby, obviously, so don't select that if the subject is a baby. Put this, that'd be a funny result though. Put her face on a baby's body. I should do that with myself sometime, my own picture. Wonder what I'd look like as a virtual baby. Anyways, okay, this takes a couple minutes to go on here. Looks like someone was having trouble seeing the screen. I hope everyone can see the screen. We only had one person, so I don't see a cacophony of people saying like, I can't see the screen. So I'm assuming you all can see the screen. Okay, so this will you can see it gives us our neutral female body. We won't worry about dressing up these characters. That's not the focus of the webinar. Maybe if we have more time later on, we can do it. All right, cool. Got some people who are reassuring me that they can see the screen, which is bueno. It is very bueno, muy bueno. Okay, so this will take a minute. Some things take a little bit longer than others when it comes to Headshot 2.0, and I'll talk more about that later. Just because there's options where you can like bake things and go back and forth, and sometimes it's like in Unreal when you compile the shaders, you're like, damn it, it's going to take like 2 hours to compile the shaders now. Headshot, not 2 hours, but Headshot has similar things. Okay, so cool. You can see it changes the color of her body based on the image here. It's not terrible. Okay, so it'll just kind of try and match it to the general facial color. And you can see, obviously, it's just a single front-facing image. So on the side, it's not tremendous. Okay, it just kind of tries to stretch a bunch of textures. We're going to replace the entire thing anyways. So we're going to replace the entire skin texture. You can press the J hotkey, by the way, to get a front-facing direct view here. And this is the one that we want. All right. So first things first, okay, we have a couple of options that appear down here. Activate Sculpt Morph is the one that we want to take a look at here. And I really don't like these big white gizmos that show up on the thing. Those are called control areas. So I just deselect this. Let's keep symmetrical on for now. Okay. So, if to get started, you can just go ahead and, mess around with things. I can give her big ears by clipping and dragging like this. Give her Dumbo ears. And you can see the relevant morphs will show up here on the bottom left, and we'll talk more about that later. We'll just give her big ears like this. Who cares? We're not going to focus. We're not going to make this perfect. This is just kind of to demonstrate the functionality, really. Okay. Again, symmetrical. You can go into different areas here, focusing on the eyes, the nose, the mouth. But first of all, we want to use the Activate Image Matching tools, okay? So this will kind of superimpose the image that we're using as a source over top of our model, direct front-facing image right here. Zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to twirl this down here. You can see we have the opacity of the photo. So if the opacity is 100, it'll be only the photo. If the opacity is 0, it's only the model. Okay, so you can see it did a pretty good job of just kind of giving us a 3D model that looks quite similar to the one in the picture. Okay. Obviously, there's some tweaking that can be done, particularly with the eye size and positioning, but it's a good general likeness, to be honest. like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time tweaking things because that can take a long time. You can really get into the nitty gritty with this tool, but I'm just going to do some brief ones here. The main one I want to focus on here is the mouth. So we can click on mouth. We don't have to. We can use the main contour one here. If I click on mouth and zoom in on the mouth, there's one thing you'll notice here. You notice there's a kind of a vague line. If you notice, get this gizmo out of the way here. Um, a line that kind of goes right above the part of the image. So you'll see there's a vague line. I can't put my mouse over there because it'll just kind of right here is basically where you'll see a line. And that line is kind of where the model's mouth is as compared to where the actual lips are. So what we need to do here, since it's a little bit off, we need to move the edges of the mouth a little bit. Okay, so we can just click on those. We can like move them up like this, or move them down like this. I want to move them down like this to be a little bit straighter. And then what we want to do is reproject the photo. Okay, so right here, you can click on reproject photo. And notice what will happen now is it'll reproject that photo, and the mouth of the model, the mouth opening of the model will be a bit more consistent with the positioning of the character's mouth. Okay, so we just moved it down. We flattened it a little bit. And now it's stuck at 90%, baking those gosh darn textures. But like I said, what it'll do is it'll reproject that image onto the model now, and the mouth parting position will be a little bit more accurate. Gosh, why is it stuck at? Okay, so now you can see here. Notice that there's no more line that's kind of going up here to the side. It's going straight through the character's lips, which is exactly what we want. If you didn't do that, then what's going to happen is like it's going to, when your character talks, maybe the lips are going to be a little bit weird on the edges. So that's one of the most important things to take a look at the beginning, because obviously, you know, your character is going to be talking, unless they're a mime or something like that. You want them to be talking, and it'll look weird if that is in the wrong place. Okay, and a couple other things as well here, very briefly. You can see the kind of outline right here. That's the faded outline. That's the actual picture, and this is the model right here again. So, I mean, if we wanted to, you know, go into details here, we can click on the contours. Click on this right here. Let's go to like take symmetrical off here, because nobody's face is entirely symmetrical. So you can kind of click and drag this out here. You can see it'll kind of conform a bit more to that shape. And on this side here, it's pretty accurate already, but you can click and drag it more. Yeah, it's pretty good, to be honest, already. You can go in here and there's more detailed contours for the face. You can see here, like, you get this right here. And you can always adjust these morphs later on as well after the fact. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let's get to the eyes, because the eyes are important, obviously, as well. You can see here the ears obviously off a little bit, but whatever. We'll just pretend she has symmetrical ears. Okay, and the eyes are important here. So let's take a look at the eyes again. So this is where the model's eyes are, and this is where her eyes are. Again, it looks different because there's a couple things to note. First of all, the lighting is going to be different. If you have a character with completely neutral lighting, the skin color is going to be different, whereas if it has different lighting. So we'll talk more about that later on. But also this character has makeup on the eyes, very heavy like eyelashes, and we'll talk more about that later. But I can just kind of click on eyes here, okay? So that'll give us some more detailed eye gizmos. And, you know, let's take a look at, for example, her right eye, the one on our left. We maybe need to move it down a little bit over here. Okay, like click on these and just kind of move it down slightly. You can see the values down here, and you can also expand those values to be something more as well, or to be higher than the 100 that they are. Okay, so again, I'm just eyeballing this really quickly. Okay, looks decent. Okay, and then we want to get the inner part of her eye down further, like this part. Again, I'm not here to do an ideal modeling scenario but it's going to be 5 or 10 minutes for this model here. So, You just want to kind of conform it as closely as you can to the you can click and drag left and right again to get something like this. All right, that eyes, it can still be a bit more. And okay, and then again, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. You can get to go back and forth and spend a long time doing this. Take a quick look at her left eye. Again, that's really similar as well. So we need to bring this. Was it called like a lacrimal gland, the one that's in the middle of your eye or whatever, down, and we can modify these morphs later, like I mentioned. So I think her eyes were just kind of larger on the bottoms than this one goes. Again, and I can mess around with that later on with the morphs. Okay, but it's always good to get as close as you can to this. Yeah, okay. Again, so noticing with the image, there's a really dark shadow right above her eyeball there. So it's kind of playing tricks on her eyes. Just be aware of that, where her eyeball actually is versus where the shadows are. Okay. All right. And that's good enough. I'll work with that. All right. So then again, you can go down here. I think it looks pretty decent so far. Again, we're going to totally change the skin, so I got to get through this pretty quick. The masking. Okay, so these are the same masking options I showed you earlier. We don't need to use these for this one. The skin color, we can set the initial skin color if we want. I think what we have is pretty decent. Now you can go down here, and I mentioned earlier about the bangs coming down here. What you want to do is you can use face mask for this. You can click on face mask and you can go hair, I think left parting. It's parting on the left side of her head. So if you use something like this, you can see, look at the blend mask, okay? It looks like a Hitler haircut maybe, but it's similar to it matches the contour of her hair, her bangs coming over her head. So if you were to use that, it doesn't show up right away, but what you can do is you can click on update skin texture here and it'll just update that mask. There's also an auto update you can select here if you want it to just auto update every time you do it. Okay, so boom, that really does the trick right there. It gets rid of a lot of stuff. Now, if we want to take this further, what we can do is bing bong boom. Make sure we take the photo diffuse here. And we can also send it into Photoshop by launching the diffuse map here. We can do this at any point, really. Crap, I think I needed to bake it before I sent it. Yeah, okay, it doesn't really matter. Again, let's just do something like clone stamp tool just to get rid of and again, this is going to be a really cut up job here, or really crappy job, but hold Alt and click to get a source area, and then you can just kind of clone stamp. I'm not good at this, by the way, but better than nothing. Okay. If we just get this, then we update it. It's not really showing the pores that well, unfortunately, but maybe I need to. This is always, and again, the kids these days with their AI fill tools and stuff like that, um, they work really well. But let's just try and get this as. Again, we're going to replace the whoops eyebrows later on, so that doesn't really matter. Let's see how this works. I don't know. Do I need to update? Oh, maybe we just have to replace it. Okay. Oh, okay. There it is. I was like, this should auto update, but it took a while there. Okay, and hopefully that gets rid of the again my 3-second Photoshop job. Well, it's all right. She has this bit of hair too. I forgot about, but anyways, that's what you can work with, and you can also you can also export the blend mask to Photoshop and use that as a reference, which is probably a better way to do it. But for time's sake, I'm just going to move on with this. We're good. Okay, this is what we're going to work with for now. All right, looks close enough. Cool. All right, so we're all done with headshot. We don't need headshot anymore. thing. Oh, I guess we will need it for the next scenario, but yeah, okay. Anyways, that's our character right there, and we're good to go. So we no longer need the image matching tools. Blah blah blah. Okay, coolio. Okay, so there's our model. Now, like I said earlier, I'm just going to replace the facial. We're going to modify the face a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Modify. And if you go to materials here, you can see it's a digital human shader. So it's got a lot of options. If we click on standard skin head, the mesh right here, this is the one we're going to want to modify. And again, there's our base color map that is used. You can see here, again, we can relaunch this into Photoshop if we wanted to get rid of that little tuft of hair above her left eye there. But, you know, she's like Tintin, except the hair is on her forehead. We'll just work with it. But again, like I mentioned, if we want to replace the entire facial texture, go to content and under skin here, we can use some of the skin presets. All right. So let's go to skin and there's overall, and we have a pack, a content pack. Oh, resets it. Skin overall. We can give her ogre skin if we wanted to. I prefer not to at this point, but there's a content pack called, it's an old one, but it's a goodie. It's an oldie but a goodie called Realistic Human Skin. Double click on that, and there's some pretty good skin templates here. We can use like a female athletic one, and this will just give us like a totally replace the skin. All right. You know, we can choose to ignore the diffuse texture and the normal texture. Okay, we can, but you know what? We're just going to go ahead and apply that. All right. And it'll just take off her makeup because I wanted to show, I was like, should I? But no, I have to show you the makeup later on. We're going to basically recreate her makeup and eyebrows and stuff. So we want to get rid of her eyebrows. We want to get rid of her makeup. It does automatically add some eyebrows in there. Ooh, that she looks a little wrinkly there. Let's undo that. That's the overall. There's also the full skin here. These are the normal map textures here. Skin base is probably a good one. Yeah, these are the colors. Okay, so this one here, this won't add us any like normal effects or anything like that. Yeah, female athletic. Oh, you know what? You don't even need this pack. You can just actually, I think what I did in the original is I just used the Camilla one here, which is Camille. Would that bring it up? There should be a Camilla skin. Cami? There we go. Haha. Camilla skin right here. Okay, so this one comes embedded with character creator. Let's just use that one since everyone has this one. Okay. And this is just replacing the skin. So just kind of to clarify things here earlier, you can see it takes away the eyebrows, no makeup, adds a little bit of blemishes. And again, we can tweak this. So just be patient for now. And I guess I should go through these three different types here. So overall is kind of like basically makeup, normal maps, and diffuse maps all put together in one. The full skin is just the normal maps. Okay. So if we close this, you'll see they won't be colored. It'll just be the normal maps and some wrinkles and stuff like that. And the skin base is just the colors. Okay. So I know those are confusing, those three different categories, but that's what they do anyways. So this one just kept all the basics and gave us this simple skin texture here. So we'll work with this as a base. Let's go to modify, and you can see here it gives us a new base color map. This is what the new one looks like. She has some stubble on her head there. We're going to replace the hair later, so no worries. Okay, cool. Now, if you wanted to go down here to textures, shader settings, textures, you can see all the different textures. There's all kinds of different things you can modify. I won't get too much into detail except for the skin color. Okay, so let's click on activate skin color. There's a blend map you can use. There's color adjustment. We'll activate both of those. Okay, and boom, wow, her skin gets really white. Okay, can adjust the blend strength here. You can see that's because our blend color is like a super light kind of. Now she looks like an angel. right? So you can take the blend strength down. Depends on what your blend strength is. You can also auto color as well. And it'll look a bit more natural. I'll bring up the actual image as a reference here. Let's make this a little bit smaller. What's that in the background? Oh, that's Photoshop still open. Okay. Let's, oh, where'd she go? Just press J if she disappears. Okay, where is she? The image, source image. There we go. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. Move this over here. All right. Cool. All right. Let's just try and kind of recreate that sort of skin color. And again, you can also click on the swatch here, blend color. You can choose pick screen color and pick a color from the screen. Maybe something a bit darker will give us a bit more of a accurate result. You know, something a bit browner, maybe. Okay, it looks good. You can blend it in more. Not too much, obviously, but and keep in mind that she has makeup on in the picture on the right. On the left, she has totally no makeup. And then there's also the color adjustment. So you can, you can also select auto color here. That just kind of takes it down a little bit. And you can also use the swatch picker here. Okay. So she, despite having the makeup, I think her skin's more of a darker skin tone, to be honest. So try and get something like this, maybe. Okay. All right, we'll work with that. You may be like, hey, Kai, this looks totally nothing like the skin color, but I'm partially colorblind, I think. So I don't know. Work with this anyways. And you can also adjust the different category or the different individual RGBs, or in this case, red, yellow, and black. And there's subsurface scattering, which we don't need to worry about right now. Okay, cool. So we'll work with that. And we'll maximize this. Okay. Oh, I guess we should have, I'll keep her up over here just in case. We'll bring her back for the makeup. All right. And of course, keep in mind as well that the shadows and the lighting is totally different in the two pictures. So, or in the two scenarios. Okay. So then on top of that, let's do the content and go here to, now you can add more skin details, normal effects. We're not going to worry about all this stuff. One thing I do want to add is some eyebrows. You know what? Let's bring her over again just to, while we're doing this, okay? So if you go under here to skin details, or rather body hair, and where are the eyebrows here? There's an eyebrows one here that's basically just applies the eyebrows to the skin texture. It's not an actual eyebrow mesh. And I think that's under one of these anyways. I never use it, so I haven't, I forget where it is. Anyways, the one I use is in hair, all right? And under hair element, you'll see eyebrows here. So this will actually apply eyebrows to your character. And I want to have, let's go to pack here. There's a special eyebrow pack. The hair builder, I believe, has one. Beard and brows builder. Okay, this is the very basic ones. Hair element. There we go. Hair group. Eyebrows. Again, this stuff is all categorized strangely. But anyways, yeah, so you want to get eyebrows that kind of look similar to this. These ones are fairly kind of like almost like dart-like at a 40, let's say like a 20-degree angle or something like that. So you can apply different eyebrows here, like these female trimmed ones. All right, they're obviously a little bit too loopy, maybe too thick as well. You can edit the meshes of these eyebrows to make them conform more closely to what your actual model is. I think these ones will work just fine. Sort of like Jennifer Connelly type eyebrows, which is awesome. But obviously the angle is a little bit different. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can adjust the angle. I'll show you also how to thin them out as well using the edit mesh tool. Okay, what do you guys think? I think that eyebrows look fine. Okay, we'll maximize this for now. And one thing you can do is you can go to modify morphs here, and there's eyes, brows rather. Okay, and there's a brow angle. Just type in angle, and something like that. That'll be a bit more close. You can emphasize. You can use both of them. both sliders. Maybe these ones can be like -50, something like that. All right, so that's, she has a bit more aggressive eyebrows. And again, you can change the positioning of the eyebrows, the height, so they can be a bit further down. Okay, to match. I have it open on my other screen here, but yeah, someone said she looks like she needs a unibrow. We could give her that. Like, what's her name? Frida, the Spanish artist. Anyways, and if you like, you're like, oh, what are these stupid tufts of eyebrow hair coming up here? Just go over to modify and go to edit mesh. Well, make sure the eyebrows are selected, by the way, not the character. So the eyebrows are separate meshes now, like I mentioned here. So female flat, there we go. And you want to modify those. Go to edit mesh. And you can select faces, elements, vertexes. It's a little bit strange that it's like this, but you know, um, select these, like these vertexes here. No, for faces. Okay, so I'll select, these faces here. Let's shrink that selection. That's not working. Let's use these ones here. And you can just go click and click hide. Okay. These ones here. Again, it selects so many of them. Like this. Just be aware of where the cards are. There are the just click on that and click hide. Okay. And you can always take these into Blender and do a better job. But anyways, so if we click off edit mesh now, it got rid of some of it. There's still some of the faces there. Again, this is where I get kind of trapped. I get into too many details. You have to have the faces selected to hide them. So like this. And hide. All right. Let's see if that did the trick. All right, there you go. So it wasn't as accurate as I wanted it to, maybe, but Control Z that and we'll bring it back. Anyways, that's how you can edit them. And I'll get into, yeah. I wish I could just take a strip of like Nair or something and go whack and just, take off those little things there. Anyways, yeah, don't trust me to shave your eyebrows for Pete's sake. Yeah, it'll be bad news. Okay, anyways, let's get on to the makeup. We had 20 minutes to go, so I need to still do facial animation too. Okay, quickly makeup. Let's go to content and see, I kind of get lost when it comes to character creation stuff. So makeup. Now there's foundation makeup, which will give her just a basic foundation. This skin and makeup is a content pack that comes with the it comes with that skin pack I mentioned earlier, the 4-in-1. So I'll just apply this cute foundation. Okay, this will give her some bit more makeup, and then it'll throw us into SkinGen. So right now it's basically creating all the SkinGen stuff. Right now, it's not going to show the eyebrows, which will show later. Whenever SkinGen is activated, it's not going to show any hair on your character. All right, so then you go over here to modify and appearance. This is where SkinGen is located. Maybe the blush is way too much on this one. Okay, like this. And this is where we want to kind of bring her over again to compare to the original. And again, yeah, I would definitely want to tweak this a lot. The blush is too much. We barely has any blush, to be honest. The contour. Highlights. No, there's one thing I wanted to add here. So content, and specifically, there is an area for, let's make this a little bit larger. There we go. There's a specific part for makeup that is the eye makeup. All right. And there's like this enchanting one. There's this intellectual one. What is the one that I found that was really similar to it? Skin color. There's the enchanting one would seem to be okay. Okay. Again, these are just quick quick templates to, apply that are similar to the makeup she has. So that gives her the really, deep, luscious eyelashes there, or the appearance of them anyways. And we can go, of course, to take that eyeshadow down. Level of it is a little bit too much, so something like that. And then, there is the one part, that is the long tail thick eyelashes. So you go to eyelashes here, there's a long tail thick one that should be here. I might not be in the right pack, but oh well, let's just apply one anyways. Mascara full. You want to add that on. And it just adds a bit more depth to the eyelashes there. You can also increase the size of the eyelashes. Now on top of that, there is the hair. Well, we'll look at that. Again, there's a little part in the middle there that's like I think they're called lacrimal glands in the middle. There's one template that includes that. Let's go back here and see if we eye makeup, is it in? Maybe it's in the SFX, makeup and SFX. Um, Anyways, there's one that has this little kind of, you can see the little thing around the lacrimal gland there, which I like. Anything with this little white thing, because you can see she has like a white part in the middle there, which we want to add for sure. But um, this one here, vintage maybe. Again, this is just going to, you can add it on top of everything else, and then go back to our modify, and we just needed to have that little part in the middle. And I think it was this one maybe. There's the eyeliner anyways. Eyeshadow. And of course, you can use this masking map here to add them. So if I wanted to add a mask for only this middle area, I won't do it right now because, guys, I'm running a little bit late. So I just want to get through the stuff here. And again, this is just the basic workflow. We've already spent 30 minutes on it. So we'll say that's good enough for now. And we'll throw some hair on her, and we can move on to the orc character, and we can throw her into iClone first, and we'll animate her a little bit. So let's go back to, let's give her some hair. Let's make sure let's just do an installed one here. This kind of narrows things down a little bit. Give her a hairstyle. I don't know. There are a lot of hairstyles to choose from. What did her original hair look like? Oh, it had like that kind of something similar to this. Okay, so when you apply hair, obviously it brings back the eyebrows and brings in the hair. And we'll say that without much tweaking, that this is what she's going to look like. And I can load up iClone, I guess, in the background while we're working on this. All right, progressive texture loading. Oh, I got a watermark. I guess I'm not logged into the right account. I'll bring that over here so you can see it. Anyways, the eyebrow issue is a little bit annoying, but all right, it's all right. It's missing those inside white flashy areas there, but decent for if I was doing this without explaining, it would take me like 5 minutes probably. But you can notice the similarities. Again, obviously, it would take a lot of tweaking, and you can do that in either Character Creator or other tools. And you can export this to Blender, Unreal, whatever you want. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next scenario. Oh, crap. I forgot to export her to iClone. Oh, well. We'll animate the orc in iClone. All right. So for the orc character, I have a cool mesh that I found on Sketchfab. Let's bring that in so you can see it. I have the URL here somewhere. Here we go. And I'll put this URL in the chat window as well for you guys. All right. So it looks better in real life. I think there's a problem with the viewer here, 3D viewer. Okay. So yeah, this is, Thanks to Fred Drabble. I just found this randomly. You just searched like free 3D head, and this is like one of the cool ones that popped up. You can see it looks pretty cool. It's like really like detailed sculpting. Obviously, it's a lot of ambient occlusion in this preview image here that let's throw this in the chat for you guys, by the way. Bam. There we go. You could shave the eyebrows once more in the middle. Yeah, again, I'm not a very good what do you call it? I don't know, eyebrowist, whatever you want to call those people that do the eyebrows. Um, yeah, I'm terrible at it. There's a lot of people that are better than me. Okay, cool. Anyways, we'll use this orc character. And again, there's a download over here, download 3D model, and you can download FBX, USD, whatever. Now I'm just going to download the FBX, which I've already downloaded. Okay, so just click on download when you go here. Make sure you attribute the author. Okay, very important. It's a free model, but make sure you give the credit where credit is due. Okay, to Fred Drabble. All right, so we got that thing going on here, but we need to have a base body to put that on. And you saw it look kind of like ugly looking, and he looked kind of imposing. So let's find a body by going to actor, and there's this orc heavy. We could do that, I guess. This is almost too easy. Originally, I didn't do this, but let's go ahead and do it the long way. So there's this human anatomy pack that I'll go here, view the product page. I recommend checking this out. This used to be like, yeah, it's like $700, but you can actually get it for free with the skin. There's like a 4-in-1 skin pack here. Yeah, this Ultimate Digital Human 4-in-1 bundle. If you get this, that includes a whole bunch of template stuff. Highly recommend it, to be honest. Like, if you're going to be creating characters, this is an essential pack to have. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys. Lash threader, what the heck is that? Yeah, get this. There's like a bunch of stuff that is really cool that I didn't have time to show today, but yeah. Where are we here? Yeah, this is the human anatomy set. I wanted to show you guys that. So within this content pack, we have characters. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. And we're going to use this male heavy dude. We can use also like a male old guy. Or this male Herculean dude is pretty cool. No, we don't need to save the current project. What the dealio that we created a new project. Anyways, we'll load up that Herculean dude. And we have 10 minutes to do the the mesh modeling and the materials and so a little bit of animation. All right. So, wow, this dude looks pretty crazy. All right, he's definitely on some kind of steroids. You can see he even has veins popping through his head there. Anyways, so what we want to do here is go back into headshot. So headshot V2. Oh, did I already have it open? I did already have it open. There we go. And now this time we're going to go to mesh. All right. And you can see here a bunch of stuff you can kind of read. It'll do the whole head, a covered head, partial head, or a full body. You can bring them all in. In this case, we're only going to bring in the mesh. So start head generation. It says multiple selection detected. I've only one model selected. What the dealio? Oh, okay. We'll go to the scene manager. Make sure that only the model is selected. So only the CC-based body, I guess. Right. Generally that doesn't happen, but okay, because there's a bunch of meshes that make up the character, like the eyes, the eyebrows, and you only want to apply it to the body. So just make sure you only have the body mesh selected. Yeah, it doesn't happen with the default character. All right, this is the most important part, all the markers. All right, so oh crap, right, we need to, that's what we're doing. What am I doing here? Okay, let's go back. Let's close headshot for now. I'm just going to restart this actually, because I brought in the whole body as the mesh that we wanted to apply for the head. All right, so we have this body, and I didn't select the correct mesh. We need to import in that mesh as a prop first. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Too much coffee, man. Okay, so head models. This is where I saved that masculine elf character here. The source file export right here is the FBX. You'll get this same file when you download it. So just make sure nothing is selected and click and drag it into your scene as a prop. Bam. All right. And it contains 3 meshes. You don't need to make, it doesn't really matter if you break it up into meshes or subprops. Just click OK, whatever. In this case, and it always appears at the scene root down here. So you can see that looks pretty badass, right? Like that's like, looks like a devil, like from Hellraiser or something like that. But this is what we're going to put onto our muscular character on the top. So with that selected, again, now we need to make sure we have only the, so you can use these visibility. That's the eye, that's the other eye. This one here, that's the mesh, all right? And make sure you only have the mesh selected, and then go to headshot and select start head generation. Okay, boom, all right, that's what we wanna do. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Well, let's move this over for now since we're gonna focus on all this stuff here. I like to put it into thirds, my window. Now, okay, you can see, all right, we got, basically, we need to put all the markers over here on our orc character. Now, this can take a long time. What you can do is you can select auto detection, all right? And it'll auto detect. It doesn't, I'll show you just as a joke, as a gaff here. We'll see what it looks like when we just only have these markers right here. To do that, we go to the next part here, click on head gen. So it's gonna wrap. And this is one of the things you can go back and forth because it doesn't take that long. You can see, obviously not ideal. We don't have his ears. His eyebrows are all wrong. So what you want to do is you want to refine this. So go back to align points here, and you want to make sure first of all your initial points are in the right position. So the brows can be further down, obviously. Make sure they're kind of relatively similar. And the better the positioning you have in the beginning, the less modification you'll have to do later. Make sure your eyes, again, these points need to be right at the edges of the meshes, on the bottom of the eyelid, on the top of the eyelid there. And this one here right at the edge. And again, no one's face is symmetrical. So don't lose confidence if your face is not entirely symmetrical. That's something I learned because no one else's is. Anyways, you want to place these markers in the correct areas. Now, these are the initial markers here. You can actually add more markers by clicking on this, but I'm going to actually add manually my own. So just make sure your initial markers are in the right spot and make sure they're actually on the mesh. Okay, so on the nose. Okay, they're not on anything else. Actually, you can place them a little bit further back like that. No, let's place them on the nose. There you go. All right, and basically, I think you kind of get the gist of it here. You want to place these markers to indicate where different points are on your character's face. So like you want to have the very edges of the mouth here, the edge opening. Use this as a reference here on the left. And all right, I think we'll work with that. Now, if we do it now, it's going to do the same thing. What if we want to add more points? We can click on 32. That's going to give us some more. So you can see now there's 25, 26, 27 on the ears there. Okay. You can add 35, right? And that'll give us some more. So, or we can just have 24, which is what we originally had. Now, I like to use my own here, to be honest, especially for a stylized character like this. And you can add them wherever you want. So like here, 25, 26, oops, 26. Oh, crap. Okay, let's add 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Okay, so we have these 6 markers on the ear, and then we need to do the corresponding ones on the model here. So 25 has to be at the top of the ear, corner of the ear there, in here at the bottom of the earlobe, and 30 right there. All right, and again, make sure that they are actually on the ear mesh. Okay, so that'll give us somewhat of a semblance of a curved elf orc type ear. All right, Do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I find normally 6 is okay. You probably want to add more for more detail, but again, we can conform it later. So bang, bang, boom. Okay. And there we go. Always change the angle and make sure that they're like not like at a weird position. Okay. And then I think, we'd want to add some on the chin as well. So you can see this guy has a really strong chin. So where's the 24 on this one? So the 24 at the base of the chin there. You can see it right there. So I'd add like one right here, 37, 37. You can do it on, doesn't matter which order you do it in here. 38, 38. Oops. We add two. Oh, no. Okay. So, and then you want one at the base of the neck, I think, which is generally pretty good. I like to do it like this. Use the lines as references for where things should be on your character. One on the top of the head. Okay. So I'll put one in the middle or the end of the hairline here. Like this. 40, 40. Top of the heads. And again, the more detail you go into here, the better it's going to be. The better your initial result is going to be. Okay. That's just the main thing to keep in mind. His head is obviously very different at the back there. So you want to do that. And maybe you want the base of the neck here. This guy has a much larger neck. Okay. Um, and the cheeks I think we can use the cheeks here as well. I think the jawline also very important. I forgot the jawline. So one here, because this guy has a really crazy jawline. So uh um why is it not showing our jaw? Oh, there we go, 45. So again, this is the part that kind of is more time consuming. So just bear with me here, but the results will be better. I know I don't want to waste time here. Okay, you know what? We'll work with that. And now it'll be better than the lump of like weird crap we had before. It looked almost like the cone head. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie, Coneheads. All right, so it has the general shape, which is what we want. Okay, the nose could be a bit better, but we have it's decent. The shape is pretty decent. Okay. Obviously, not all the details, which we'll talk about later, but cool. We're going to go over time on this, guys. Sorry about that. But all right, we're done with that. And we'll go to refine mesh. So we'll start with that mesh and refine mesh. The step here is pretty simple. Again, what you want to do here, what I start off with normally is use project. Okay, so project projects your mesh to conform more closely to the source mesh. Okay, and you can right click and drag to give yourself a bigger radius. Okay, which I do. And let's start, for example, with like the head. Okay. Once we do that, you can see if we click and drag, it conforms it more closely to the actual model. Okay. So there go our cheekbones. There goes our nose. There goes the eyes, the ears, conforms it more closely. So the thing to be aware of when you use this project brush, it creates a lot of jagged edges, which you'll have to smooth out later. Okay. I try not to do it on the, oh crap. I try not to do it on the mouth too much because the mouth generally is more sensitive, but the cheekbones definitely, the nose, you definitely want to get it around here. And you want to get those ears as close as you can. The jaw for sure. Okay, and maybe smaller over here. Okay, so I like to project it and get as close as I can so that you can see we get a lot more detail. Let's do the head here. And I'm going to have more back here, which is good. Okay. Shoulders. We don't have too much. Okay, it'll blend into the model. All right, so just be aware of that. Now things like the ears here, for example, we can smooth them out. You want to have your lines fairly smooth. That's kind of important. You don't really want jagged edges. Just and of course you can decrease the intensity as well, make it a bit more manageable. But yeah, I won't spend too much time on this. Our model may not look ideal, just so you're aware, but generally you want to have smooth this out a little bit. Get your angles to be not as jagged as we have here. So smooth them out. And the eyes are very important to pay attention to as well. If you smooth out the eyes too much, they can be a little bit strange. There's an option here to, if we go to keep borders, that's for the eyes. So it's not going to allow us to modify our eyes too much, but you know, keep these fairly smooth. There's also one other option here, which is called clone, which I find is actually better than smooth in a lot of cases. And this will use AI to kind of conform our eye a bit more closer to a mix between the two. Okay, a mix between the default mesh and the desired mesh or the end mesh. Okay, it does a little bit of a better job than smooth, I think, in certain cases. So use a combination of those two. You can see here if we use it on the ears, for example, not as good on the ears. Okay, so it's not giving us the ears that we want. Whatever. And of course, there's move. So you can just click individual vertices and move them into place. Okay, like this. Blam. All right. So again, this guy's not going to be super ideal, but you'd want to spend a bit more time smoothing out edges and getting through all this stuff. But yeah, all right. The nose, I think, is going to be an issue, but you know, smooth it as much as you can to avoid any weird mesh situations. We'll just say that the nose is fine and let it go. Okay, we'll work with that. All right. So now what the next step is to attach the body. Bang, boom. Okay, so we have the current body selected from source mesh. If you have a high resolution texture you want to use here, this is the place to put it. Okay, so we can choose from source mesh, or we can choose from high poly mesh. And there's a texture that came with this character. It's not high poly by any means, but whoops. Oh, project rather use from high poly mesh. We can use the texture right here, the source. Okay. You can also project from image. Okay, or the normal from source mesh. We'll just use that. Okay, we'll use 2048. No mask again. Let's just go ahead and generate that, and that'll give us something a little better. All right. Oh, thanks, guys. That with my really crappy job of just kind of conforming the mesh. Again, the whole headshot process of you know, getting your character to look like you want it to. For anyone who has any experience in 3D modeling, particularly for characters' faces, it takes hours upon hours upon hours of work to get things perfect. And I'm really just doing it in you know, a really crap up job here. But here you can see, there we go. It looks pretty cool. Obviously, his skin is a weird black color, but that's because it's projected from the thing. And there's a little bit of a neck issue with the mesh here. Okay. But yeah, he looks pretty badass, looks pretty evil, you know. You can fix the mesh issues here by, you know, going to edit mesh, make sure the character is selected. And you can use the smooth stuff here as well. So for example, let's go to sculpt, and we can use this smooth option here. So let's get rid of that tumor on his neck. Let's give that a bigger radius. So there we go. Bam. There we go. Now it looks a bit better. A little bit of edgy stuff here, and smooth that down. Whoa, crap. Okay, cool. And then, like, you know, his ears could probably use a bit of smoothing as well. Again, ideally, this would take a lot longer, but you know, work with what you got, son. All right, there we go. All right, well, cool. Just doesn't look too crazy. All right, cool. All right, we got this badass looking dude now. We can go into the content, and I want to now is where I wanted to throw in that orc texture that we found earlier. So under skin, you'll find this orc skinny. This is again a purchase content pack that is from Rookie03. I'll throw this link in the chat window if anyone wants to take a look at it from the content store. Really cool one. And some good orc skins in there. There's an orc skinny, there's an orc medium, and there's an orc large as well. So we'll just throw that skin on there. I think he looks kind of cool black, to be honest, but obviously let's just kind of see what he looks like with this orc skinny skin. We can throw in some teeth there. And then, you know what? I'll spend a quick 5 minutes animating. Sorry I didn't get to the animation too much, but gosh, time just got away from me. Bad time management on this one. But there you go. That was pretty badass, right? Like it looks kind of like a Lord of the Rings type orc character. And you can throw in different eyes there as well. I think these are the orc eyes, skinny eyes. I didn't actually apply these earlier, but the golden eyes actually look pretty cool. Oh, those look like more realistic human eyes. I like these ones more for this orc. Okay, cool. There's also teeth as well. You can throw in there. So I'll just replace the current teeth, and I'll show you how to modify the teeth slightly because they stick through the mouth. Wow, wow. Let's go to modify. Let's open our mouth here, and there's a whole bunch of scaling things we can do here. So there's, if you go to teeth, CC based teeth, there's what scale height, and scale them down, upper height, width, make them a bit more narrow, lower scale width, something like that. And we can also rotate. Teeth lower rotate fronts, maybe something like that. You can enter a higher value. And let's see. We'll work with that. I think that what are those called? Incisor. Teeth lower. Let's go lower. Incisor, maybe. It's called incisors. I believe they are. All right. Anyways, there are some incisor things that you can search here and find and scale them. Lower central incisor. Oh no, those are not incisors. Oh gosh, what are they? I forget what those teeth are called. Anyways, there's a name for those teeth, and I can't remember it right now, so you can scale them smaller. But we'll just work with that for now. I mean, he's gonna have his teeth poking through his mouth a little bit, but whatever. All right, let's scale his mouth a little wider to kind of accommodate those teeth, though. So with let's go to actually mouth instead of mouth width. Okay, that looks better. He should have a wider mouth anyways. He looks too curt. All right, so minor breakage to the mesh here. Canines maybe. Oh, someone said canines. Did that work? Oh yeah, lower canine. Root width. Let's open the mouth. Lower canine. Oh yeah, there you go. All right, they are called canines. Thanks, guys. You can see there's a lot of canine stuff here we can modify and move it to more inside, maybe. This one more to the inside. No, let's move to the side. There we go. All right, so they're not as bad. Oh, there's the length. All right, there we go. All right, that should fit more in his mouth. All right, then there's tilt and all that stuff as well, like you guys can see there. But yeah, we'll just work with this because I want to get to the facial animation, which is, the main part of supposed to be the main part of the show here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring up this. Oh, by the way, you can also go into SkinGen here. There's a couple of cool SkinGen things to add. You can. I want to show you another pack called War. Oh, this may actually show up as a watermark, but since I'm not logged in to the Reallusion account, but Under skin, there is acquired. There is this war pack I downloaded recently. It's pretty cool. You got all kinds of like grody looking injuries and stuff. Like this one here is pretty badass. Shrapnel injury. Okay, and I'll just kind of bake that for us. Um, yeah, I'll just throw this in there and then we'll do some animation. I'll do like just 5-10 minutes of animation. Um, someone here has a facial shadowing problem. Oh yeah, it shows up because I'm not logged into the proper account. But anyways, you can modify this and all kinds of stuff. I won't use it because I don't want that watermark there. But cool. All right. So now you can close your mouth, buddy. Dentist appointment is over. I got this thing in front of me here that illuminates my face. And I'll throw my webcam on here. Again, I'll use AccuFace for this one here. Let's just get it set up. Go. All right. AccuFace. So I'll send this guy to iClone first, obviously. Go on the character, and iClone is loaded up. So send to iClone. Yep, we don't need SkinGen anymore. Man, this texture is actually really cool. I like it. It already looks pretty badass without that shrapnel injury. My webcam might be a little bit crooked, but whatever. And then in iClone, we need to load up AccuFace. All right, so there we are in iClone. It's J, focus on the character's face. That doesn't look as cool in iClone. That's because we need to give him a better lighting scenario. And we can also go to the human head and maybe increase the normal strength for this. Should have a stronger effect than that, but whatever. There's a bunch of stuff you can go to in stage, a bunch of lighting presets, like this authority one here. All right, looks a little bit better. All right, this backlit one maybe. Nope, I like the authority one. Well, I'll work with that. So then what we can do is go to AccuFace. It's open right here. Whoa, holy cow, right. Let's try and bring this down a little bit. There we go. Can we get me more in the picture there? Whoa. All right, work with that. Not the most ideal lighting scenario, but okay, cool. Then we'll go to USB camera, already selected. You can get a higher resolution to get generally better results, okay? And tracking. Again, you can use these things like to reduce tracking interference. I'm not going to troubleshoot all this stuff for now, but generally what you want to do is use the facial calibration to get started. This gives you like a baseline of what to use of your face, so AccuFace knows. So calibrate facial capture. There's neutral face. I'll show you my face here. So neutral face like this. Brows raised. I'm not very good at the brow inner raise. I'm not a facial contortionist. So anyways, that gives you a baseline reference. Let's go to plugins here, Motion Live. And we want to, of course, make sure AccuFace is selected. Enable that, connect it. This light's in the way here, so that's why I'm kind of moving around like this. And AccuFace there. All right, and yeah, so let's make sure this is always on top. And let's move me over here a little bit. Okay, we'll preview me. The strength is a little bit strong, so you can take that down. Well, that's way too far. Ooh. Okay. Now, obviously, this character is not ideal for a lot of things, but we need to probably apply I think we need to apply a facial capture or a facial profile in a character creator to this character to make him a bit better. What? Not as expressive as he could be. So what we can actually do is go back into character creator. And what you want to do is make sure that you have the facial profile added to your character. Or that's actually an iClone, isn't it? Or facial profile, you can add it here too as well. In here, go to CC4 extended and just apply that to your character. That'll give him some more like facial expressions here. And you can always test them out in character creator as well. So like if you wanted to go up here to edit facial, let's get me out of the way there. This will be a better example of what you can expect. I like when orcs are disgusted. You know, if an orc is disgusted, it's got to be really disgusting. So there you go. Something like this. Oh, he's like, ew, how could you? I'm an orc, and even I find that disgusting. These facial expressions here are pretty funny. You can increase the level of disgust as well. Or you should be able to. Not sure why they express it. Oh, there it is. Just a little bit slower. There you go. So this guy's like, ew. Which is a funnier one? There's one where his face is kind of twisted. Like, oh, this one here. Ew. Yeah. And then, of course, you can take the muscles and modify them even further. Oh, take his mouth. Now that's a smirk right there. Anyways, you can have fun with this on your own time, but yeah, that's how you can get those facial expressions going and stuff like that. I know we can actually make some time to add in some, AI audio. There's a couple of honorable mentions here I want to mention. I'm not going to go into the facial lip syncing right now. Obviously, we're already over time, but if you guys have any questions about that, I can demonstrate in the Q&A. But yeah, there's a plugin for Replica Studios right here. You click on that and click on Replica link. I'll just Google a couple of candidates that I really like. Replica Studios has a link for us, so Replica Studios, or rather a plugin link. So if you go to Replica AI, replicastudios.com here, or I think it's, yeah, replicastudios.com. This is Replica Studios is a really good organization that do some really great AI generated voices. I'll throw this in the chat window for you guys as well. Oh, I think, oh, yeah, Michael mentioned here, I'm in quick mode. Ah, fantastic. Thank you, Michael. I was like, why does this guy look so crappy? Like, this is so weird. All right, there we go. That's how he's supposed to look. Good Lord. I can't believe I didn't recognize that. Right before this, I was doing another project where I was doing animation. So I was in quick mode. But yeah, that's a bit more impressive. And now the normal's too strong. Gosh, why was I like, uh, I was out of my head on coffee. All right, there's our normal map. That's what it'll look like. A lot better than before. Um, but yeah, what were we doing? Oh yeah, Replica Studios. Okay, here. So we'll throw that into the chat. Thanks so much for that, Michael. Yeah, Michael. I threw that in the chat window already. Yeah, Replica Studios. Okay. You can load up their app. They have a desktop app that basically generates audio for you. Another one is called 11 Labs. We don't have a plugin for this one, but it's also really good. 11labs.io. You can sign up for free for this one. And you know what? I did have a couple of audio files prepared here. Let's just throw those in there as a quick finale here for our demo. I won't use, maybe I'll use some facial motion capture later, but let's throw in a quick script here. In iClone, we are in iClone, yep. Okay. Let's go into, where are we? Oh, modifies over here now. And create script. So this is your general workflow. What I like to do is just throw in my script first with a neutral expression, and I like to add expressions on top of that. And I'll show you really quickly my workflow, and then we'll get to the Q&A. So audio file in this case, and the audio file in this webinar is in a different one. I save this. This is one I generated from 11 Labs. Okay, so this one was generated from 11 Labs and is from a preset called Fin. All right, so you can see, very neutral facial expression. You press F3 and go into the timeline. That creates some automatic lip sync, and you'll find that in the Viseme and expression tracks. Let's get rid of the other ones here. So here we have the Viseme track that creates that from the audio file. A number of different Visemes here. Now, if you find that your Viseme is not accurate enough, what you can do is you can actually use Aculips to create a script as well. I just imported it in with an audio file, but if I want to use Aculips, I can do the same thing. So create script, and then there's Aculips down here instead of using an audio file. So let's just close that and get a bit of a better lip syncing result. I mean, the original was actually not bad, to be honest, but and then you can load in the audio file here through Aculips. Finvoice01. All right. And generate text. So this is where you have to actually manually type in the text a lot of cases. What's that? You want me to make a disgusted face? Right away, Sarah. Oh, it actually kind of got it pretty accurate. Disgusted face, not base. Face. So just do that. And then click on align. It'll align your Visemes. And just go ahead and apply. We did it the wrong frame, but no worries. So this one adds the tongue, which is, the original one doesn't really add much for tongue, but the AccuFace adds a lot of tongue stuff. So if you have like some tongue stuff in your lip syncing, then you want to use that. You can also right click on this and you can go to talking style editor, and you can use a different talking style like enunciating. Okay. And this one is a bit more expressive. Okay. And then we can transfer him to a disgusted face after that. But what you can do here is you can loop on top of this, or you can layer on top of this a facial expression. And for that, we'll use AccuFace here. So let's bring in AccuFace back in. And then plugins, Motion Live, AccuFace. And this is already set up here. I think we're okay. Okay, so in this case, let's put the strength back at 100 there. And mask, we're going to mask out the face and chin since we have the Aculips there. We only want my brows and my cheeks and all that stuff to be expressive. Okay, so it'll be like something like this. Okay, so that's a really simple and quick and dirty way to do it. So let's just go ahead and record it this time. Now there's options here, obviously smooth and strength and all that stuff, but let's just do it really quick here. Okay, I didn't see myself, but all right, you can see the eyes there pretty wide. Okay, you can obviously decrease the strength of the eyes there. But I find in general what this is very useful for, layering your AccuFace on top of the lip syncing. It's very useful for timing and expressiveness. So basically, you can hear it in your headphones. You can hear the audio of what he's saying, and you can kind of, like mime along to it. So like, what's that? Like, and the timing of your head and the timing of your eyebrow expressions. That's what you really want to get a hold of. Because that's going to be your raw data, and you can refine that later on. So, for example, things like this, let's just go ahead and work with that. I'm fine with that. That's a decent capture. Say, for example, here, you don't want the eyes to be that strong. So, we just do things like open up the edit facial key, face key editor here, and we can just go ahead and, for example, kind of reset to 0. And that gives us a keyframe right here. And then Go over here to where the eyes are really wide. And we can take these down. Oops. Okay. So now they're not as high. And then back here, reset to 0. Okay. And that, gets rid of a lot of the eye stuff that we were dealing with before. We can copy and paste this keyframe like this. Okay. Just to make it extended. And just little quick fixes like that. Okay. This one, let's say we want his eyes to be a little bit wider. Reset to 0. Discussed it. When he says face, we can take these and maybe make him a bit more inquisitive, like that, or upset. Okay, so then we have this that we just added in there. And then we can, copy and paste that keyframe. Okay, again, guys, this is like super just quick and dirty editing I'm doing here. There you go. So just adding those little things in there. Okay, right away, sir. And then we can move them on to a disgusted expression here. Right away, sir. And then from here to here, we'll transition to that disgusted face. The disgust. Oh, there we go. All right. Right away, sir. How's that for disgusted? So maybe we'll have a little bit earlier. Okay, cool. There you go. 2 seconds or like 5 minutes facial animation. Oh, I guess someone says they can't hear it. Ooh, that sucks. I can hear it. I think. Sorry, guys, my Zoom audio might be off or to the wrong setting. But anyways, that is the text is there in the timeline, I guess. But yeah, I should be able to hear it. Okay. I'll have to make sure that is fixed in the next one. But here's the thing. He's basically saying, he says, "You want me to make a disgusted face right away, sir?" And he goes to the disgusted face. All right, cool. Done. That's it. We're gonna go to the Q&A now. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. I know obviously the results are really quick and dirty, but with more time, you can definitely get something refined and more visually appealing and dynamic in terms of the facial animation. But that's the run through of the basic functionality anyways. Getting your headshot, bringing that free mesh in. I mean, this is not bad for a free mesh we just kind of got from Sketchfab. We did a really quick and dirty facial animation. We got the free audio from 11 Labs, Replica Studios, and threw this all together in like very little time. It's ideally you'd want to spend more time refining it, but that's what we got. Cool. All right, so let's get to the Q&A, guys. Thanks for sticking with me for an extra like half an hour here. But we got some questions to go through, and we will get to that right now. So Q&A. Len Walton, is there an online tutorial on the Real site that outlines how to import custom items, like HDRIs, for example? Good question. I don't think there is a specific tutorial for importing all different types of items. I mean, for HDRIs, you can bring those in. I'm gonna get this stupid light thing out of the way so I can actually see my screen. Yeah, HDRIs in iClone, you can find them. Pretty sure you guys know already. Len, you probably know. HDRIs are found under Atmosphere here, under Visual, and you just import them in into the IBL under image-based lighting here. And so this is where you want to import like an HDRI, like this one, for example. Okay. That'll give us, surround lighting. That's where you'd want to import that in. That's maybe another one like this Golden Bay. This one will give you a bit more of a different, again, this is more for like ambient lighting. It just adds a little bit of kind of style to your character or to your scene. But to answer your question, Lynn, for specific tutorials on importing everything, I mean, everything has a different way of importing. So it's not really a one tutorial to cover all the different types of imports. But At least we got to HDRI. That's where you can import them into image-based sliding there. Although it's not an IBL tutorial or a lighting tutorial webinar. Michael asks, can AccuFace be used to capture for a headshot too to create meshes? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, no, I wouldn't use AccuFace for that because you want to have an actual image to use as your source for headshot too. AccuFace is used for the animation afterwards. Headshot 2, you need to use an image or a mesh as a source. So we went through the process of showing the image as a source and also showing the mesh as a source. So yeah, that's I would say no to that one. Next question from Michael Zurcher. Thanks for the heads up there, Michael, on the quick shading, by the way. I didn't really pay attention to that. If I brought a character in from DAZ and do the animation lip sync in iClone, is there any way to get lip sync from iClone back into DAZ for rendering? I don't use DAZ much anymore, Michael, but you can definitely do that. Just import the FBX to DAZ with the facial animation. The FBX has the animation embedded into it. So that'll import into DAZ with the facial animation. So just make sure you use FBX format for import and not OBJ, because OBJ doesn't contain any animation data. The FBX will contain the animation data. And I believe with DAZ, it should automatically detect that. Again, I haven't imported into DAZ for quite a while, but 99% sure it'll just automatically detect that animated data in the FBX. So just make sure you use FBX and not OBJ. And if you've tried that and it doesn't work, let me know, because we'll get further into that, into the DAZ. So there's some DAZ auto setup stuff that I can link you to. Okay, next question from Michael. Sorry, I see you changed that last minute to go over. Okay, good. So hopefully I covered what you wanted to learn, Michael or Jose. Question from Jose here. Is it possible to export from Headshot version 2 to another 3D software like ZBrush or Blender maybe? Absolutely. So, Blender has an auto setup, Jose, which is a super awesome tool that we have. Maybe I can try and throw this creator character into Blender really quick and test out that pipeline just to show you guys. So there's a Blender auto setup. You can go over here to import character. I'd probably want to show you the link for the page too. Blender auto setup Reallusion probably brings it up. It's just the fastest way to get to things normally. There you go. Blender auto setup right here. So you can download the auto setup. Let's actually go to the download page. Right over here. Yeah, you have to click on these links here, but I'll link you to the main page. I'll throw this in the chat. So if you're using Blender, this is an essential tool that you really want to get your hands on. And let's see if we can just throw this character really quickly into Blender. We even have a Blender plugin, Blender pipeline. The data link, you can just select export character to Blender here. See if this works. Desktop test. So if you export to Blender with the Blender pipeline plugin that's downloaded available from that page as well, it'll optimize all the shaders for use with Blender. So you can import that in via the plugin I just showed you. There's also the Blender data link as well. So linking, you can click link here. Did that export? Okay, good. So import character. Let's find that in the desktop test. All right. Now again, this is just I didn't test this out previously, so it'll bring our character in anyways. It should be all the shaders and everything should be applied correctly. Again, I haven't used this pipeline in I think a few weeks, so I'm not sure if all my stuff is updated, but there you go. There's our dude. Import it into Blender, and you can pose him. And there's also some lighting presets here. you can use, like blur warm. That looks pretty badass. I like it. All right, studio, courtyard, authority. Yeah, you can really see his wrinkles in the authority one. All right, so there's your dude in Blender. All right, and all this is completely free. So highly recommend downloading Blender and getting the auto setup. It's really awesome. If you use the link, you can um, just throw the expressions back and forth and stuff too. So Coolio. All right. Next question here. Um, I don't have ZBrush installed, so I can't show the ZBrush pipeline, but we have GoZ, which is really cool. Jarell asks, could we link a GPT to it and it could respond and communicate? Unfortunately, the API is not open at this time, so you can't really do that at this time, Jarell. But great question. We do have the option for Python plugins. So if you're a Python programmer, you can actually create your own plugins and maybe do something like that. It's a bit more complex, but yeah. Question from Hugo. I purchased the software since the beginning of the year and I haven't had time to play with it. Can the hair be changed as far as color, length, or hairstyle if needed? Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the more simple things. Unfortunately, our orc doesn't really have hair. I mean, we could throw some hair on him, I guess. Let's see what that looks like. Curiosity killed the cat. This is probably going to look so stupid. But why not? I'm tempted to give him some e-girl hair. Maybe some buzz cut hair would be pretty good. I don't want to give him e-girl hair. Ah, looks all right. There you go. Someone saying Alexander saying rat tail or pompadour. No way. Oh, whatever. You can be creative if you want, but this one actually looks pretty good, to be honest. Um, Maybe it's a bit too clean cut for an orc, but yeah, whatever. That's how you can do it, Hugo. Really quick and easy. Question from Helene. When I applied skin to the headshot character, my headshot character changes appearance to that of the character whose skin I use. Why is that, and how can I stop it? It works for you, but not for me. Helene, you probably are using, like I said, I did a brief summary of the 3 different types of skin presets earlier on. So if you go under skin, again, there's the overall, there's the full skin, and the skin base. Now, these are 3 completely different appearance generators, okay? Again, the overall contains the color, the diffuse texture, and the normal maps, okay? So this will kind of like create additional bumps or wrinkles on your character's face and also change the color, all right? So just be aware of that. That's probably the one you use as one of the overall skin templates. The full skin one here is just, if you click on it right here, you can see it's just the normal map. Okay, so it's white and it'll just change the bumps and everything like that. The skin base one is just the color. All right, so you can see the color templates right here. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying to differentiate between those 3, but and I know the names aren't really that intuitive, but yeah, that's what it is. So make sure that those are you got the right thing going on there, Helene. Otherwise, it might be something strange. Work fresh from Horde interview. Great. Okay, Leon Cruz, yeah, he's straight from an interview. Leon is asking here, after seeing the skin swatch to blend the skin color of the model, is there a way to fix the different colors for the wrinkle maps so it's more automated? I've noticed that when I change a skin color on the base level of a character with wrinkles, when they make a frown, the wrinkle maps don't match. Okay, good point. Yeah. So Leon's mentioning here, we do have a separate wrinkle system, okay, in Character Creator. So when you apply wrinkles to a character, they conform, the colors of the wrinkles will conform to the base color of your head. So Leon, to fix that issue, what you want to do after you change those colors in the modify panel, so if you go to your colors right here, we select our head, we have the hair selected there. So what you want to do is after you modify your colors and everything, you want to bake skin color to diffuse map, okay? Very important here. Bake skin color to diffuse map. When you bake that to the diffuse map, it's going to bake your base color, and then you have to reapply the wrinkle map, and then the wrinkle map will conform, the color will conform to your new base color. Okay, so you have to do one step first. One step is after you do the modifications here, You have to make sure that they're baked, okay? And then you apply the wrinkles after that. Okay, very important one step, two-step process there. Because I know you're like, oh crap, why is my orc's skin is green, but his wrinkles are pink? That's kind of weird. Yeah, so make sure you bake the map first. Um, Zola asks, hey Zola, is realistic human skin still worthwhile in CC4? Absolutely. Honestly, I do a lot of like side projects and I've used it like almost every single side project. I use realistic human skin, to be honest. And it does translate well to UE5 still. Unreal Engine 5, we also have an auto setup. We also have a live link plugin, just like Blender. But if you're Blender and Unreal users, iClone's an amazing tool for you. And the pipeline is flawless. Okay. Lee Manso asks, will Headshot 2.0 work with Replica Studios and A2F? Yep, absolutely. Works for both. Yep. Quick answer there. H. Smith asks, can you import hair from Blender or CC, or Blender to CC, or send CC characters to Blender to make custom hair for it? Yes, absolutely. So good question, H. Smith. Sounds like the guy from the Matrix, Ancient Agent Smith. So you go to create, by the way, and there's the create cloth hair accessories right here. And when you click on that, that's where you import in your Blender hair file. All right. I don't have one handy right now, but click on that and you'll have to select the file right here. You can see it's an FBX. Okay, make sure it's an FBX and then import that. There's going to be some tweaking involved. Hairs are really annoying. Or hair in general is really annoying, so just be aware of that. But you can do it. And that's the pipeline there. H. Smith. It feels so formal. Joel Sweeney asks, I joined late. Will a link to the recording be posted? Yes, Joel, we are sending out a link to this recording later on to everyone. Okay. Watson asks, I have a problem where a person sent me a picture that has shadows. When I use headshot, I get the following. How do I adjust the skin? I can't click on that link right now, but so Watson, if you have shadows on your source image for headshot, one thing you can try to do is use that those masking presets. You can also customize the mask as well. So anything that's masked out, it's going to be auto-generated by character creator. So back in the headshot panel here, under here, I showed you the custom masks here. So the face mask, again, we can select which one we used last time. We used hair left parting. Okay. And generally what you want to do is you want to launch this. See, there you go. Use this as the source in Photoshop. So that's the one this part here is the one that's generated by character creator. And this is the original black texture we saw earlier. It looks so funny. I don't know why that's hilarious to me, but you can see the diffuse map is all black. That's why. Okay, it's just a black diffuse map. But the blend mask, again, here, if I launch this blend mask into Photoshop, we can put a big line through his forehead or something like that. I don't know, just to show you how you can custom modify the masks. All right, so here it is. Let's make him look not so much like Hitler. And maybe, there we go. Yes, increase that brush size there. Something like this. This is gonna look so stupid, but whatever. Just want to show you the update. Nope, wrong program. All right, so this one will. There you go. There's the mask that I changed. You can see it's just like a little. It looks almost like a middle finger, like a fist with a middle finger coming up the mask, the blend mask here. But that's the result that you'll have. That's what it looks like right there. And that's the result. So you can mask out stuff, you can mask in stuff. What if we wanted to, for example, put a black streak down the middle of his face. Where's my opacity? There we go. I just want to see what this will look like. It'll be funny. It'll be funny, I promise. Okay, anyways, that's how you do it, Watson. Zola asks here, uh, here you go. I have the ultimate human digital human add-on 4-in-1 bundle from 2020. Is SkinGen 4-in-1 the same thing? Oh gosh. I think so. I think the source stuff is the same. I think maybe the makeup one is different, but you could, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same Zola. So yeah, hasn't changed in a while, but honestly, the material within is really super useful. All right, I can't see your picture there, Watson, unfortunately, but hopefully you got some tips from that little blend or blend mask thing I did. Donald asks, can I use Affinity Photo instead of Photoshop to edit for headshot? Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're JPEG, PNG compatible, whatever. You can use any Photoshop or any photo editing software. Photopea as well as a free one through the browser. For those of you who don't want to, I think Adobe actually just got sued for their subscription practices. Dun dun dun. So Photopea is a really good one. I'll throw this in the chat window for you guys. Cool. Donald asks, can you create eyelashes from images? Nope. No, eyelashes are separate meshes on your character. So if you go into like the character hierarchy, for example, you'll see that there's an eye, or sometimes they're separate. Um, Under the eye here, they're separate on the morphs. So if you go into your morphs, modify morphs, uh, and you go to under head, there's an eyelash one here somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's under head. Yeah, there you go. So these are the only eyelash ones you have for lower short eyelashes. Well, it's unfortunate for this guy. He doesn't have any eyelashes, or they're just too black. His face is too black. You can't see it. But anyways, that's where the eyelash things are. But you don't create them from images, Donald, unfortunately. Question from Alex. I'm looking to export most of my models in VRM format. Is there a possibility of adding this to CC4? To VRM format. I don't think so, Alex. I haven't heard any talk of that from the development team about getting that implemented. So not as of yet. I mean, you can take it into Blender and then export it again into VRM format. I believe there's a plugin for Blender that supports that, but not from CC4 at this time that I know of, and it's not in the pipelines. So, yeah, don't be checking back all the time. Oh, where's the VRM export? Anyways, we'll go on to the next question from Arun. Is there a way to use image references for characters inside CC4 for the total character? Or is it just available with headshot? Good question, Arun. So one thing you can do is, you can obviously bring in the actual image of the image to your scene as well. So, say we wanted to really transform this guy into Leo DiCaprio. We'll pretend this is a big, full body image of him. Just click and drag that into your scene, and right click and drag it rather. Okay, make sure you right click and drag it from Explorer into your scene, and you can import it as an image layer or as a plane. Now, the difference between plane and an image layer here is an image layer will always be stuck to your camera. All right, a plane will be like a prop that you can rotate and manipulate. Okay. If you're using it as a reference, I would just import it as an image layer, to be honest, like this, and you can resize it. This orc's got a long way to go to look like this guy. But there you go. And no matter what angle you change it to, you're going to have Leonardo with his stunning green eyes staring into your soul while you're modifying this orc. All right. So that could be a full body picture, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Okay, cool. Leorcnado, Leorcnado. All right, good times. Arun asks, can AccuFace fetch facial animations from videos or only from a live cam? Good question, Arun. It can do videos and live cam as well. So if you have, it actually works. Sometimes it works better with the video capture. I honestly like to do the video capture better myself because when you're doing it live, you're always tempted to look at the webcam or look at the character, what he's doing. Is he following what you're doing? And that kind of throws off your rhythm and stuff. So what I like to do, I think the better workflow, to be honest, in my opinion, is to just act in front of the camera without having to worry about the character there. Maybe play the audio in your headset or whatever you have, and just do the video, the acting first, record the video, and then just import that video to AccuFace. That'll give you, in my opinion, a more natural performance in terms of reaction time and everything like that. Yeah, that's the way I would do it. But to answer your question, yes, it does use video sources, and I do recommend it. Question from David. Would love to one day see you do a tutorial on bringing a full external character mesh into iClone after importing mesh into Character Creator. I think we've done that, David. I think we AccuRig tutorials, or we did some AccuRig webinars, I'm pretty sure. For those of you who are not familiar with AccuRig, it is our auto rigging application, AccuRig. It's the one and only, so Google will bring you directly to it. So this basically, you can take any mesh. It doesn't matter if the mesh is rigged or not, and it'll rig it automatically in Character Creator. All right. So, or in AccuRig rather, and you can use it in Character Creator. Throw that in the chat for you guys. Yeah, you can get a view like this. Doesn't do face right now, just so you're aware. You do have to use the face process that I showed you. So that's where headshot comes in handy. If you want to rig the face, just import the face mesh separately and apply it like that. Oh, that frog's disgusting. Anyways, okay. Yeah, so we've done it before, David, and AccuRig is, I don't want to search through the webinars, but I'm pretty sure we have an AccuRig webinar that we did on it. But we can always do another one and update it. Question from Lay Todd. Do you offer the same plugin setup for Cinema 4D? Unfortunately, no, but we do have some Cinema 4D stuff in the pipeline, Lay. Good question. I know there's a lot of users who are super into Cinema 4D. I think it's an amazing tool, to be honest. And yeah, we are working on getting a Cinema 4D auto setup workflow that is in the cards. All right. So you can look forward to that in the near future. Emmy asks, how do you animate a character that walks up to a chair, turns around and sits? That's a whole new can of worms that I don't want to open right now. But we do have some animation tutorials and webinars that I'd recommend checking out, Emmy. Again, most of the stuff you can find if you go to the main Reallusion page, learn free online tutorials, iClone, and motion animation training or motion editing stuff here you can find. This one's the basic stuff, so you can probably check this one out. I'll throw that in the chat for you there, Amy. But yeah, you can do it a number of different ways. That's a whole nother topic, though. I think I answered the question from Lay about Cinema 4D. Keith asks, when I export CC4 FBX model to Maya, the wrinkles don't carry over, should they? So the wrinkles are they're a totally separate system. You can bake the wrinkles, but and if you have the animation and you export the animation over, then they'll also import along with the wrinkles. With the auto setups for Blender and Unreal, they import the wrinkles no problem. I haven't done the import to Maya in a long time. But gosh, so I can't really give you a solid answer on that, Keith. I'm sorry about that, but the wrinkles don't carry over. I believe they should. Everything should be baked. Yeah, especially if there's animation involved, because it'll bake the map and it'll bake the results to your character. So try doing it with animation. I mean, obviously, when you bring the character over and you try to do the animation in Maya, the wrinkles may not appear. But if you import the animation with the character to Maya, along with the animation, those wrinkles should be baked into that animation. Yeah, so I know that's kind of a non-answer, but just make sure the animation is with coming along with it in the FBX. Alexander mentions Unity works too with the wrinkles. Cool, awesome, yeah. All right. Yeah, this was the other question from Cinema 4D or from Lay again. Question from Kojo. I've always had an issue with headshot taking on shadows, no matter how clean of the photo I take. Um, I fixed the issue by cutting the face in half in Photoshop. Morbid, cutting the face in half. No, I'm just kidding. Cutting the face in half and mirroring the better side. That is my new workflow. Are there other ways or tips you may have for the workflow? Yeah, Kojo, honestly, I've done the same thing. You know, when you're working with headshot, ideally, it's a lot easier if things are fully symmetrical. So when you take what Kojo is doing is basically cutting off half of the or taking half of the face and just mirroring it to create a completely symmetrical face. Both left and right sides are the same. And yeah, I've done that myself as well. So particularly with heads that are at an angle or something like that, or with the shadows, like you mentioned earlier. So that's an excellent workflow that I've used personally. So I can recommend that to other people. But your question is, are there better ways or tips that you may have for that workflow? Not really. I think you kind of nailed it there, Kojo. That's the one of the recommended ways that I recommend to do it. Cutting the face in half with a hacksaw and then mirroring it to the other side, the Photoshop hacksaw. So, all right. Cool. David asks another question from David. Importing a full character into character creator and then animating an iClone. I'm trying to use an anamorphic character with a tail for an animation, but I find it hard when I use the Reillusion rigging tool, especially with the tail. Yeah, I think Dave, that's a really good suggestion for a future webinar. Things like tails or antennas or bunny ears and stuff like that, those are going to be external bones that you need to add and define on your character and character creator. And I don't think we've had a webinar on that for ages. Like it's been years probably since we've done a webinar that has spring bones or anything like that. So that's maybe one that we might need to update. If you guys want to learn more about, external additional bones, adding additional bones to your character for things like tails or bunny ears and stuff, or Martian antennas, then yeah, put that in the feedback and we'll get to it. All right. Thanks, Watson. A few more questions. Lee asks, I want to confirm that the upper and lower teeth are on the same mesh and the tongue is on a separate mesh. Yes, Lee, good question. They are all on different meshes. So to see all the meshes, you just go into your scene manager and you can see there's the teeth right there and the tongue on two separate sub meshes, right? So teeth invisible. Well, I guess his mouth isn't open, so we can't really tell. Scene manager, teeth, bye-bye teeth, and bye-bye tongue. Okay. Hopefully that answers that question. Kojo asks another question here. Are you going to be applying AI to any of the software in the future? Yes, we have some AI stuff in the pipeline for motion editing, which is really cool. Specifically using the motion key editor for the body. Okay, or the edit motion layer tool, I should say. That one is some really cool AI functionality coming in the next version. So yeah, you can look forward to that. And I think a few other things too, but yeah. All right, final question here from Lay Todd. What is your typical workflow with animated scenes and characters? Do you start here and then move to Blender or other programs? That's exactly what I do. Since I'm really familiar with iClone, I find that I work really fast in iClone. So I do all of my animation in iClone. I don't use any other tools for animation, whether it be for motion capture for the body or for the face. I have a Rococo suit. You can really quickly throw on a Rococo suit. Rococo often has webinars too that I'd recommend checking out. They show the entire workflow. You just throw on a Rococo outfit in a couple minutes and do some jumping around and you got your animation there. And then do some facial animation. You can do them simultaneously as well. They also have the facial capture. Yeah, that's honestly what I do, animation in iClone. In terms of like the scenes, like getting the scenes all set up, I do normally a lot of the blocking, the initial blocking in iClone. So, which prop goes where and everything like that. I don't worry too much about, the lighting and stuff initially. Um, Although I do, when I render eventually, I do end up rendering in generally in Blender or in Unreal, just because of both of them have much better shaders and render quality than iClone does. So yeah, I import in some initial lighting from iClone into those software, but then I do tweak the lighting and the shaders and stuff in Blender and Unreal. Yeah, that's my workflow for animating. Um, cool. Yeah, I work a lot with Unreal and Blender. I guess this is the end summary there. All right. Kojo's got a question right under the deadline here. So, is it possible to import a group of characters into iClone at one time? I'm working on my first animated short. I only have 3 characters. Importing 3 characters into iClone at the same time? No, I wouldn't do that. You can't, I don't think, anyways. Imported one at a time. I mean, you can save a bunch of characters, background characters as a single FBX if they're already animated, and import that in as a single FBX. But if you want to edit any animation for your character, you need to bring it in as a character. In order to animate the bones and everything like that. And yeah, hopefully that answers your question there, Kojo. Kojo slicing the two faces in half is a great idea. I agree. A lot of blood, though. No, I'm just kidding. Photoshop. Anyways, thanks so much, everyone, for being along here for the ride. And I'm sorry I went quite overtime on the initial headshot demo. But yeah, thank you again for all the compliments, guys. Appreciate everyone being here. And again, thanks for joining the webinar. Hopefully you learned a lot. Check out our Learning Center for more future webinars and more future tutorials and all that fun stuff. We have one next week for 2D Cartoon Animator with Mark Diaz. So if you're into 2D Cartoon Animator, check that out as well. And yeah, lovely to have you guys along. And we'll catch you on the flip side. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.